Okay, we're live.
Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Brain Drain Unlimited Foundation. My name is Konstantin. I'm joined by Manus, Eric, Tamara, my fellow team members. We are Brain Drain, and we welcome you to today's. What is today? Today is Meeting You Neighbor, another episode, but we really would like to share with you our take of 2025, what it has been for Brain Drain, and like what our view of each one of us of 2025, because it's been a very important year for Brain Drain. It's actually year number one for us, although we were chartered some time ago. 2025 is really the year when we started going. So very important. And I would like to invite my colleagues, the team members, to participate in this year summary / Q&A session. Well, what do you think, friends?
Yeah, I think that sounds like
a
a plan, Konstantin. It's been a really exciting year, I think, for Brain Drain, like you said. And we've come a long ways when we look back to. It was about 1 year ago, Konstantin and Manus, when you put out the original video, the original call to action about announcing Brain Drain. So, wasn't it about 1 year ago?
It was so. Giving Sunday. What is that?
Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
Giving Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Yep. So that would have been last week. Yep.
Oh my! So it's anniversary, really. So that's how we found Eric, or Eric found us. We found Eric because, Eric has been such, I don't know how to say, indispensable member of the team, or it's like the best member of, I don't know. Just I'm running out of superlatives. So,
well, and I'm just an example of how anyone can get involved with Brain Drain if you support our cause and you support the type of people that we are trying to bring into the United States. Anyone can participate, because it was about, like I said, a year ago when I was sitting back watching one of Konstantin's videos, and all of a sudden Konstantin and Manus came up and pitched the idea of Brain Drain. And I was sitting on my couch about a year ago, and I thought, that's something I can support. There are so many nonprofits and so many charities out there, and I had been watching the news about Ukraine and thinking about how can I help, what can I do, and so a year ago I sent in a few dollars. It was a small donation and a note saying, how can I help? And a year later, here we are.
Well, it's been quite a ride. I am extremely happy, excited. I don't know. Again, please forgive me my English. I don't have that many words. I have so many more thoughts and emotions than words to describe it. So, yeah, it's been quite a ride. Thank you so much, Eric, and Tamara, and everybody else joined. That was really the year when Manus, we impregnated Brain Drain in 2023, and then it was born in January of 2025.
Yes. Yes. I guess, just to give a quick overview of what we did in 2025, it was a huge year for us. And I think we've made a real impact, a real world impact. We've been noticed by other organizations that want to help us and to help us further our mission. I did not realize how unique we were, and but yeah, it's it's been a ride. I would have to say that Our number one achievement, and not necessarily in that order, is that we built an infrastructure. So we have governance. We've clarified program pathways. We've built systems to support displaced talented from eligibility through visa assistance and job placement. We've done that. We have the infrastructure to do that, and to do that at scale. We launched a lot of videos here. You're watching one, and we've also done some webinars, and we'll continue to do that, and to basically get our message out. And through Eric's efforts, we earned the Candid Gold Seal for Transparency, which is meaningless to, I guess, many of the people watching this, but it really is significant for us. It puts us on the front page for those who are looking to hopefully support us and whatnot. And we've published some human impact stories, and I know that we will also be adding to that. So we highlighted the journeys of professionals building careers in the U.S. So 2025 was a foundation year. It's preparing us to scale impact for 2026 and beyond. And we thank everyone who is watching now, and everyone who will watch in the future, and everyone who will join us in this venture. And that's all I have to say for that.
That's fantastic. Eric, how would you sum up what was 2025 for you?
Well, without getting into the technical weeds, I would just reiterate what Manus said. It was really a big foundational year. I was really pleased with the team. We went through an extensive exercise with what would you call them? External consulting firm that helped us get all of our procedures in order. And that was a very good exercise. But I've been happy with all the infrastructure we've built. We started from square one, and we've been able to put together a communications infrastructure, both internally and externally. Keep in mind too, for those of you watching, brain drain never sleeps. So we've managed to do all this across multiple time zones and 12 hours of working time differences between the team. So I've been really proud of the team, how we've been able to coordinate amongst time zones and across languages, and all towards one common mission.
Yes.
Where I'd like to see
Thank
us
you.
go a little
Thank
bit
you.
more in the future, we have some interesting projects and interesting ideas for 2026 that I know we'll talk a little bit more about. I'd like to see more people following us. I think we've got some interesting things to say in the upcoming year.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We're just getting started. That's for sure.
I think in 2026, we're going to see the first boots on the ground. Yeah, so I'll make that prediction right now, and that means that yes, people that we've been instrumental, we're going to see them. We're going to see them land in the United States. We're going to see them walking off that plane and starting their journey here. So it does take a while to get through these the process. Through USCIS, it takes about 18 months. But we have two that are ready to pop. So, and I know that the line behind them is quite long. So,
Yes.
join the party.
Yes, please do. May I ask Tamara, is she here?
She's here. She's hiding.
Yes. Tamara, please step into the limelight. Please tell what has 2025 been to you personally.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara. It was a really interesting and complicated year for me because I left Russia and joined my husband and I finished a great lawyer career in St. Petersburg in Russia, and I'm happy to find a new opportunity to work with with you. Fortunately, I found my skills useful in providing communication between Russian and English and American teams. And we have onboarding more than 10 really talented applicants, held webinars and many streams, and it's great for me.
Tamara
Thank
has
you.
been a bit like our cultural ambassador as well as the lawyer.
Yes.
He
Yes,
helps us
yes,
translate our American thoughts into Russian thoughts.
yes. Thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
this
Tamara is
opportunity.
Tamara, you've been such a great. I can't even say, like, again, please forgive me, but my English kind of like fails to explain how I feel. Tamara has not been just a part of the team or addition to the team. She's been like a driver behind everything,
Mhm.
really. She's in charge of the communications, keeping that bridge between the parts that never sleep, Eric. You know. So thank you so much. Tamara is a great attorney, very experienced, very shrewd. And then she has a good heart. She moved from Russia to follow her husband, one of the best designers, graphic designers in Russia. He just fled Russia, just like myself and others, you know. So thank you very much. It's been honor and pleasure of having you as part of Brain Drain.
And
Yes, thank you.
on top of all of her transition and her work with Brain Drain and her moving across and being a refugee, in her spare time, she's helped rescue many dogs and animals. So she's a dog lover as well. So not only is she helping refugees and helping Brain Drain, she's helping our four-legged friends as well. So that just
Yes.
shows how big
Yes,
a heart she has.
yes,
Yes.
it's true.
May I sum up what 2025 has been for me at Brain Drain?
Sure.
I look at this year, and so many things happened, okay? But I look at this year and then I think of people and trust. These are two main things for me. In my eyes, we founded Brain Drain quite some time ago. And then for over a year, me and Manus, we were back and forth. Every day, we have this tradition. We meet each other virtually for coffee. We call it like morning coffee. No, for me, it's afternoon, evening. For Manus, it's morning. So every day we discussed. Took us many hours, okay, and we did some steps, but they were slow because it was just two of us. Between Manus with his busy life and myself with the YouTube channel inside Russia, you know, and then that event happened, the Giving Tuesday, and we started having people knocking on our doors, so to speak. And we started scheduling talks, meetings, virtual meetings. And that's when Eric showed up and Natasha started getting involved heavily into the project. And we started receiving money. We received financing from people, I don't remember how many, but I think there was dozens and dozens of people started donating us. Manus, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's $1,700. That's how much we got last December.
I believe
Something
that's
like
the amount.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. And that, to me, money is very important because money is a measure of trust. If people don't trust us, they never give money, they never donate. And our foundation is a tax, the donations here are tax deductible. IRS trusted us and it said, look, you're doing something good. So everyone who donates, we're going to you know, give it back through taxes. So that's trust that came from the US government. then people trusted us. And not too many people actually asked to be reimbursed, because in order to get your taxes back, you need a special paper from us. Then you file it with the IRS, and then you tax deduct, right? Not too many people. They said, look, just keep the money. We don't need this taxes thing. And that is trust. Okay. And I value it very, very highly. The next thing, which seems breakthrough to me, was VEC. That was fantastic. Okay. Manus, you are usually the generator of all ideas. Okay. And then Manus came to me one day and said, look, this is a great bunch of people. It's a nonprofit that teaches other nonprofits how to, organize and how to actually function. Let's talk to these guys. And we did. And I remember our initial talk, and it was just me and Manus. So this lady, this VEC is a nonprofit where retired executives of high caliber, after they retire, they come to help other businesses, just for free. They volunteer. So we met this nice lady. She was in Florida. And Manus in Philadelphia, and myself in Uzbekistan. She didn't know where Uzbekistan was. And we started telling her, we didn't have like a mission written out, or elevator pitch, mission statement, things like that. We just had the idea, okay? And we started selling her the idea. And she was looking at us like we were little nuts, and she was asking questions like, do you guys have business plan? No, we don't have a business plan. Do you have like different matrix? We're like, no, we don't. We just have this idea. We want to, we have established this nonprofit and all of that. And she said, okay. Somehow she believed in us enough to schedule another meeting. She said, come back when you're done with your business plan. And we did the business plan. We did the organizational chart, and then we came back, and she looked at us. She said, okay, that's much better. By the way, Natasha was involved in the business plan and the mission statement, all of that, even before we started in January. So I give her a lot of credit for that. So we came back, and this lady saw something in us. And I think she told us that, look, we're running this. We already knew, okay, so that they're running this multi-week program, and they accept some nonprofits into that program, and it's like a crash course, okay, in how to become a successful nonprofit. Basically, they teach everything. And we applied. We said, can we please apply? And let's, okay, do it. And we applied, and you know what? That was when the breakthrough happened. They accepted us into the program. They had faith in us. They trusted us enough to make Brain Drain Unlimited Foundation a part of their program. Okay, they spent so much. They brought in different executives, and each one was an expert at something. Finance, planning, volunteering, things like that. Each person knew, had expertise in all these things. They established a course, and we started in January, and we graduated in August. We did our homeworks. We did a fantastic bunch of work, okay? And we graduated. They gave the experience. They shared their knowledge and their experience with us. And at the end, at the last meeting, this lady who had initially talked to me and Manus, she was amazed. She said, look, you know what? When you started, we didn't think you'd finish with, but you kept coming back every single week with all your homework done and improving step by step. And now you've done great. So that was an incredible showcase of these people, very serious former C-level executives, and I think some of them are current C-level executives of large American corporations, believe in us and actually finding us successful. Okay, that's another breakthrough. That's 2025.
Well, and Konstantin, not only did we graduate, but they gave us, like you said, very good compliments, and they've continued to connect us with other opportunities. So not only did they trust us, they're sharing our information with others. They're sharing us as an example. So
yes, they said, basically they admitted, you guys are legit, you're good, we're willing to help you out, so you're successful, you'll succeed in your mission. Because we were selling our mission to them for what, how many weeks, 12 weeks or something like that.
Well, and part of the reason, part of the selling our mission is our mission is unique, and that's what Manus mentioned. Part of selling our mission, why it's a little bit difficult sometimes, is it takes a minute to get people to understand what we're doing. Particularly on this side of the pond, I've tried to give the elevator speech several times of, well, what are you doing? Well, we're helping conflict displaced people find new careers in the United States. Well, what does that mean? And then you have to explain to them of, and then you get into giving examples of some of the people we're helping. And so that's something we're continually working on too, is continuing to refine our mission. And I know I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit to 2026, but that's one of the things that we're continually doing and we're working on towards the future, is providing more information about our mission and our programs and our progress. So year one, we did a lot of work defining a lot of those things. Now, moving forward, it's going to be exciting to report back on some of our results.
Absolutely.
I would also add that that is something that we will focus in on 2026, is the fact that yes, that's what we do. We help conflict displaced talent come to the United States and rebuild their lives. And I think one of the things that people don't necessarily understand is all the barriers that they have to go through. The USCIS guidelines and the immigration courts and things of that nature. This is something that we help them through, because we don't necessarily want them to be here illegally, or if you want to, without documentation is the correct term. We don't want them to be here without documentation. We don't want them to be here looking over their shoulder, wondering if somebody's going to knock on their door and tell them they have to go home. So no, we do it as Konstantin likes to say, the right way. We make sure that they go through the process, that they get their documents in order, that they know what to do, and and they do it. So that's. But I think we need to work on that in 2026, at how we lower those barriers or help people achieve, surmount those barriers. Let's put it that way.
The difficulty too in the United States is when I run across people and the first time I explain our mission, they instantly think about people applying for refugee status.
Yes.
Or people applying for temporary visas, temporary work permit. And I have to back up and say, no, that, we will help people in those situations, but that's not what we do. We're working with exceptionally talented individuals. And then I have to, the next thing I usually say is think of the Einstein visa, quote unquote. And then they usually get it, but I don't know about you, Manus, but I don't know very many Americans who know about EB1, EB2. They think about refugee.
The news media, unfortunately, does how would I the news media, and if it leads, it bleeds, or if it bleeds, it leads. That's the the phrase that we use here in the United States. Unfortunately, they're only considered in the bad news. They only want to look at the bad news, and they kind of blow it out of perspective or proportion, and but and that doesn't matter whether you lean left or lean right. It doesn't matter. The media is not your friend, no matter which way you lean. That's my opinion on the media. But yeah, the false stories and the false impressions, the stories that come out. I view it as a way that we here in America are so privileged, and we've been that privileged for so long. We just can't imagine being denied entry to any country.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something that is just beyond our experience, and and
Well,
we lose.
but the
we
only
lose-
thing I can imagine, Manus, is now that we've made some acquaintances in Russia, I'll never in the near future, I'll never be able to visit Russia. So that's the only example I can think of as an American. That or Cuba, right?
You can't get to Cuba. You can still get to Russia.
Well, if you want to risk it.
Yeah, it's you can still get a visa to go to Russia, but I believe the number is 140 countries that we can go to without a visa.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 140 countries on this planet that we can visit without a visa, and the others are relatively simple to get. I think the only places that we can't get a visa to or would be difficult would be North Korea and Cuba, as you mentioned. But I have no desire to go to either one, right now.
Yeah, really, when you look at the amount, that's true, Manus. The amount of Americans that actually have a passport is a pretty small percentage compared to a lot of countries.
Yes.
And then of those who have obtained a passport, the percentage of those who have had to actually go through and get a visa. I mean, that's right, Manus. I've been to more than a dozen countries. I've had a passport. I've never had, the only visa I ever had to get was when I had a permanent work visa in Switzerland. I've never had to get a visa.
I'll give you this experience or whatever, this quick story. It was back in 2007. I am going to visit Moscow for the very first time. And I had this opportunity to send in my passport and have them get it back to me and all this other stuff. But I said, heck with that. I went to New York, and I'm at the consulate. There's a huge line out front. And I'm standing in line, and I start talking with the gentleman behind me, and he automatically somehow figured out that I was American. And he says, you can just go right up. And when I started to walk up, there, bypassing all these people in the line, the guard comes out, stands in front of my way to block me. And they said, no, he's American. He's American. The guard just opens the door for me, lets me in. I hand over my passport. Though he said, come back in 45 minutes. I went to a coffee shop and had my coffee, and I came back and I picked it up. But that was the way, at least, and I think I found similar treatment in other countries.
I remember a similar experience, Manus.
Yes.
When I lived in
people that stand in line waiting and whatever, but as an American, you just kind of wade right through.
I remember living in Switzerland, because when you enter the EU, the way it works is there's a line for all the EU members and then everybody else in the world.
Yes.
And I remember that because as an American, I always have to stand in the rest of the world line. And so you end up in line with people from all over the place. And so it would never fail. I would get behind someone from an African country or and man, they would have to prove how much money they had and prove all the paperwork, and it would be a whole process. And then they'd see my American passport. Have a nice day. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, but again, I would say that most people in the United States have never had that experience of being held at the airport or being questioned.
Even being questioned, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is, we have a tough time relating to that because it's just not in our experience. Yeah, and whatnot. And I know it's enough said on that subject.
Well, that and the other experience I've had as part of the brain drain education is trying to explain to my American colleagues of, well, if all these people are so qualified and they're so smart and they're so, well, why would they want to leave? Why wouldn't they want? And then you have to explain to them that as an American, you've never lived in a situation where something you say can put you in jail for 15 years. And that's no joke.
Yeah.
Americans just don't understand that. Of what it's like to live under a different, what's the word, regime or situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, we have, I mean, for us, it's kind of like, okay, we had a young man who grew up in Maryland, and he went to California and founded Google. All right. That is something that is, again, to be able to travel 3,000 miles to a different state. And that's how, you know, basically it is United States where there's no restrictions of traveling between the states. You know, but in Europe, yes, they have their states, but there are restrictions of traveling between those states. And then they finally got to the EU where they loosened it up between those states and whatnot. But it's not a, and I think even in many of those countries in the world, leaving your hometown, you still have to get permission from the government. And I think Konstantin can back me up on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I was just going to ask, yes, there's still internal and external passport in Russia, right?
Well, yes, external and internal passport, but since the time of the USSR, it had never been a limitation. In other words, any citizen could get an external passport, the traveling passport, at will. You know, the government didn't say no, couldn't say no. Now it's a different story. They still give you the passport, but it's becoming more and more like the USSR. They've adopted a package of laws that limits, well, gives the state more power to not let person out of Russia. Let's say if a border patrol officer simply looks at the passport, says, you know what, I'm sorry, I find it suspicious. What exactly do you find suspicious? Well, I don't have to tell you. I think your passport is suspicious. I am going to not let you out of Russia. I'm going to seize your passport, send it to the expertise. It takes up to 10 days. But I have to be somewhere. Well, I don't really care, you know, that type of thing. And they are preparing a new set of regulations that will limit Russians' departure out of Russia, just like in the USSR. All you have to do is to introduce an exit visa. And I believe that in 2026 it will be introduced. But you know what? Enough about what's that?
Oh, I said that's another interesting concept that Americans don't understand is an exit visa, because it's never been a problem to leave the United States.
Yeah.
The United States is a completely different concept. It's a we are the people concept. We are the people, and the state is there to serve us. We create the state. We give state officials certain powers. We can take it back at any time if we feel like they are underperform. But it's us, number one. In Russia, it's different. The state is number one, and people are there to accommodate the state. So it's completely different concept. That's why so many people from Russia try to make it to the USA, and I have not heard of many Americans going the other way.
Yeah. Not yet. No.
Not yet. Well, I hope not, Manus. I hope not. But
No.
let me finish about the brain drain in 2025 because I still have couple breakthroughs. I would say the brightest spots of the year for me, so to speak. You know, another bright spot was that when we started, you know, it took us a while to be formed as the team and to get like polished. Everyone kind of like mingled with everyone and found his or her place inside the team, and we clicked one day. And I remember it's like there were a bunch of us volunteering, and then at certain time, I think it was in the spring, it was just like that. You know, it felt like we were a team, and that was incredibly important for me. That was another milestone of 2025. Another one was when the word of mouth started spreading around us. Last couple volunteers we received not by seeking, and not, I'm sorry, not volunteers, but last couple applicants, potential applicants that might go to the USA through our program. They found us because someone told them about us. So word is getting spread, word is getting out there about us, and people start seeking us. That was an incredibly important event for me also. And the last one, and that's a recent development, you know, we started applying for different grants. There are a lot of individuals and organizations that the philanthropists, they give money for different causes, for good causes. And you know, money is really hard to get. You gotta either sell someone a product that they find valuable enough to pay for the product, or if you want to get it as a donation, you have to prove your worth, so to speak. You have to show who you are and what you do and your intentions, and make people believe in you. And there are a lot of, well, quite a few organizations that give grants. But in order, it's not just like a very easy procedure to get a grant. You know, no, you have to show that if you receive money, you would spend it on exactly what you tell to those who give grants. Okay, and they check you and they interview you, and you go through a rigorous process of, you know, auditing, and they x-ray you basically. Okay, not just as organization, but as individuals, each one of us personally, because you know we hold interviews with those who give grants, and they're very experienced. They know people well because that's their job. And we submitted, well, we were given chance to make applications, multiple applications, and submit them into different organizations. Basically, we were pre-green lighted. We have not received any grants, but just the fact that they accepted our applications, that to me, that speaks volume. Those serious people out there with money, they look at us and they go, oh, these guys are legit and we like what they're doing. So, you know, let's give them a shot. Let's give them a shot so they present their case. That's in my eyes, that's a lot. It makes me proud. Okay, hopefully we'll get some of those grants, some money. But we've gone this far, and that's already makes me proud. So that's pretty much 2025 for me. Of course, there've been a lot of details, but I don't want to go into details. I've sort of like given you my angle of how I see this very successful year from us. Those are bright spots for Brain Drain in me. And then plans, holy moly! I mean, oh, I forgot about this channel and this ongoing series, the YouTube. We were playing back and forth with this idea of starting a YouTube channel, and then at one coffee, one morning, me and Manus, we said, you know what, enough talking. Let's get it done, And then we recorded video, and it was horrible.
Yes.
So it was absolutely horrible. Okay, and I said, look, Manus, no matter how we do it, let's upload, because hey, every person's first video is always horrible. But then at least we get it done. So we did it, and we did another one, and another one, and another one, and then Eric joined. That we decided live streaming, and Eric turned his magic and started doing this technical, and all of a sudden things started happening, And then Tamara joined the live streams and took off some workload, and I like coming here every Monday and just being with you. It's fun. So I think that's an achievement. And the thing is, it's just the beginning. We're just getting started. My personal plans for 2026 in Brain Drain is to get as much market networking done as possible. I have these two ideas that I've been, presenting. I've presented my colleagues. There are immigrant communities throughout the United States. I know two of them. The first one is in Sacramento, California, and the second is in South Carolina. Of course, there's one huge one in New York, but it's not an organized community. It's just, hundreds of thousands of people from former USSR live there. Same for Florida, but in California, it's an organized community. They have churches, they have the leaders, they have a newspaper, the radio station, and so forth. And then, they have a YouTube channel. And then I've been trying to knock on their door, and I almost got the door open. So basically, we want to invite them to join us at Brain Drain, and not necessarily as donors or not as they're already in the United States, so they're not possible clients. But we want to hear their stories. We want to see their faces. We want them to come to us and say, hey, I am in the USA and this is my story. It's doable. All you have to do is dream and take steps. And we would like to get our word spread in that community, and the same for South Carolina. And we will get the word out even more. And of course, social media does the same. And I believe there's a big tall letter in front of us, and we're just at the first step. So I think we're just getting started.
Absolutely. Affiliates and bringing in interesting new guests. For me, it's about, well, I'll spare the audience all the tech geekery, but for me, it's about continuing to spread the message. And 2025, again, like Konstantin said, was a big establishing year, establishing platforms, getting procedures. Anyone who's done any tech work knows that you have all the logins and all the passwords and all the different settings and 50 different systems to go into. Well, our platform is built. So now next year is really pushing the message and pushing awareness. And one of my goals is to be able to better leverage some of the talent that we have on the team, particularly abroad. We've got some really talented tech people that are willing to help us out. So I hope to have some more interesting projects on the tech side.
Yeah, and I think I would like to expand on what Konstantin was talking about, or clarify, if you want to call it that. Yeah, we started with several, several dozen small donations, but those donations, the impact that they had, uh, not only were they helpful, but the impact was it got us invitations for these to apply for these major funding opportunities. And we've had the people who are in charge of those funding opportunities, they literally coach us on what to put in the application. So yes, they reached out to us and they said, why don't you apply? Why don't you come and take our money? And there wasn't that much of a persuasion on my part to take them up on that. And but yeah, that's, and it still is, it's one thing that leads to the next, and then to the next, and then to the next. And so I am excited to see what happens.
Every dollar, every like, every view
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Yes.
Literally every dollar donation we put to work, whether it's helping to bring programs online like this, or spreading the message, bringing in more resources to help our clients.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even the way YouTube works.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even see what their numbers were. 320, 360 subscribers.
Yeah, we picked up about, well, yeah, we're on the upper end of the 300s, heading for
Okay.
400.
The way for our audience to understand, if you're at 499, you get nothing. But if you are at 500 or 501, you start to get something.
Yeah, yeah. So that'd be one of my goals, is if we can persuade another 100 people to join our little community on YouTube. That allows us to make a few extra dollars by allowing YouTube to run ads and support our efforts with ads. And
Yes.
so we can be monetized, so to speak, as an organization, and that helps us put extra funds in the account by producing these shows.
Yeah, and like I said, just the little gestures, or whatever you want to call it, those initial funders, led to these opportunities, and anybody who, the initial subscribers, the initial people that clicks on like, all contribute in one way or another.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and anyone who's on YouTube, you're going to hear it about 100 times a day, depending on like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. But it really does matter. I mean, with the way the whole internet works algorithmically, you clicking that like button really does help us out. Or you sharing an article that you might have found interesting that we produced. Or I keep reminding people, follow us on social media. I'm a little biased because, at least for this year, I've been the one in charge of our social media. But I think we have been publishing some neat, pretty fun graphics and things on social media as well. So we're developing a persona.
Fantastic job. Fantastic. It's actually pleasure. I mean, one of the things that I really get kicks out of Brain Drain is that it's fun. It's fun for me to be here, personally for me to talk to you. I don't take it as live streams, official live streams of Brain Drain. It's just like hanging out with friends, talking about the topics that I find important. And same thing on social media. If you go to Brain Drain accounts, we are presented everywhere. Okay, you will find very useful information that you will like. You will find it interesting. So I like that. So, and I think, Eric, you've done a fantastic job of putting everything together. It's like magic. to me, Manus, to everyone, you did something and it happened. I mean, of course, hours and hours of work, okay, and then testing and experiments and things like that. But then magically it started working.
Okay.
Well, and that's the other thing in terms of brain drain that's been very positive for me, is I've seen how many hours the entire team has put in this year. And and none of us are making the big bucks by being here. All of us are volunteers. So that's really impressed me. So thanks to all the rest of the team too that's put in the hours, because it's not only me. It's all the hours on the phone with the applicants, all of the organization the team has done in Uzbekistan. Konstantin, you're constantly putting the message out there and keeping us visible. So
Let me just change things up a little bit and ask my colleagues if you were to make one prediction for 2026 that you won't be embarrassed by when we bring you back here in 1 year, what would that prediction will be for brain drain?
Will be bigger and better. That's my prediction.
All right. I think I gave it to you earlier, but yes, we will see at minimum 2 sets of boots on the ground, and that is either I think it's one individual and one family, but at minimum we will have that here in 2026. I would like to be able to say 4, but I'm going to go with the 2 for now.
yeah, I think that's realistic, Manus. I kind of had that 3 number in my mind that I was going to say, I bet you we could bring 3 clients in.
Okay.
And I think that we'll have at least that many grant opportunities that will have come our way. I think we stand a very good chance at winning at least one substantial grant that would help us along our way. I'd like to continue to see us grow our audience from a tech perspective. I'm going to predict that we'll be monetized on YouTube by next year.
Okay. So your prediction is what? 3 grants?
I'm going to go for 3 clients that we're
Okay.
going to succeed for 3 clients, and I bet you we will have at least one grant. That's a substantial grant.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. All right. All right. Now we have Konstantin or Tamara. What are your predictions? Forecast.
Well,
Oh, you said
I
bigger and better. So we didn't hear from Tamara yet.
no, I will add some numbers.
Okay.
I think we will get at least 2 grants. Okay, we'll get some funding for the project, and we will have at least 20 donors, people who would give us some money, tax deductible.
Okay. All right. All right.
How about
Tamara,
Tamara?
do you have anything for us?
And about me, I would
Or what's
like
your prediction
we
for
will
brain
bring yes,
Yeah.
we will bring 2 applicants to USA and win 3 grants.
Okay.
This is my predictions.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
ladies and
minutes.
gentlemen, we
Well-
have a couple questions from the audience. Are we going to take those?
Yeah, why not?
Not questions, comments, more like a comments.
Okay.
Thank you guys for the greatest experience for me and all that hope I have acquired. Well, the pleasure is ours. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for your attention, for your precious time, for support, for good wishes. Thank you. And Jodes Rames, good to see you, friend. The usual suspect and the pillar of pillars of Inside Russia. I find it interesting that Russia still has closed cities off limits to foreigners, especially. I have a surprise for you, Jodes. The entire Russia soon will be closed off limits to all foreigners, at least most of the foreigners. You wait and see what's going to happen in 2026. Things are changing fast.
Yeah. I think what I was referring to earlier was the one video on Inside Russia where the woman with a patch or a button on her jacket was challenging some guy who was visiting her little neighborhood, and I do know that it was amazing in my first trip to Sevastopol, where they mentioned that that they finally were allowing foreigners to go to that city, and that was off limits. I found out from the history, even from those people that lived in Ukraine or Crimea at that time. So, yeah.
Oh, Manus,
Again,
I was a very frequent traveler to Crimea. My father was born and raised in Crimea. I still have family living there. And in the USSR, it was strictly off limits for my family, myself and my family, to go to Sevastopol. You'd have to apply. Basically, you'd have to get a visa to get into the city. And it was heavily guarded. And you needed to have a reason. You had to have a reason, good reason to visit Sevastopol. Only relatives, family, or work. That's it. That was it. And so it's not just the foreigners. Foreigners, God forbid. It's just Russians. And if you try to get into the city limits without permission, that's prison time, lengthy prison time. So I remember.
okay. Yep. Again, that's a concept that is just unfamiliar to the United States. I know that there's the mythical Area 51, but I've never had any desire to go there anyway, so I don't know if that's actually closed off or not.
Well, there are closed cities, but not like Russia. I mean, I live over the hill from Camp Pendleton, and that's essentially a city that
Well, it's
you
also a
can't go
military
in.
base.
Yeah, you can't go into it. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, it's nothing like Russia where, you need a special visa to get within 20 miles of the border or, restricted zones or, we don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, lady and the
Yes.
gentleman, I suggest we wrap it up for today. It's been an hour.
Yes.
So, I just want to say thank you very much. It's been a fantastic year, and I am so happy that I have met you all. You're part of my life because it's not just volunteering at Brain Drain. It's more than that. It's really a part of life. And I am very glad to have you as part of my life. And it's been fantastic. Thank you.
I feel like the same. It's almost like I picked up a new little family here, a new little group of colleagues that over the last year. So you've become more than colleagues. You've become friends as well. So it's always a pleasure to work with people you like.
I will
Thank you, Eric.
definitely support that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So tune in again next week. I don't know if we will do next week or the week after next, but we're certainly planning on doing another discussion about holidays. So we'll probably do another Christmas comparison talk in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
I can sing.
Yeah. Well, we've heard your rendition
Yes.
of Sabotage.
How did it go?
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. And as always, if you have the means to support us, like, share, subscribe, and you can always donate at our website, braindrain.work. Thank you very much for tuning in.
All right.
Thank you, friends.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this and maybe even learned something new. If you did, don't just vanish into the algorithm. Hit like, subscribe, and follow us on social. It's the easiest way to support our work and make sure you never miss what's next. Want to stay in the loop without relying on big tech's mood swings? Sign up for our monthly newsletter. And if you've got the means, donations of any size keep our programs running strong. As a 501c3, your gift is tax deductible where the law allows. Together, we can turn Brain Drain into America's next big breakthrough.